Why couldn't we have the Deadpool animated series instead of this try-hard wannabe knockoff? So after 2 years of its initial announcement, we have finally got our first definitive look at the Harley Quinn animated series that will be coming over to the DC Universe streaming service. And I am not going to sugarcoat my feelings on this one, and truth be told, I think this looks atrocious. But before I truly rip into this one, I do want to get this out of the way in saying that I do appreciate the animation design for this series, as it is heavily inspired by the Rebirth Harley Quinn series, and even though I don't like Rebirth Harley Quinn at all, I do at the very least enjoy the artwork. And I will admit that the animation in of itself is actually really good. So in terms of the animation and the technical side of things, this show does look good. And that's where all of my praises end from here, because honestly, I really cannot stand what they are doing with this Harley Quinn animated series. Because like I said, I don't like the modern Harley Quinn from the comics too much because they try so hard to make her a female Deadpool. And it is clear as day that they are going in that same route for this show. And even if someone is a fan of those comics, I highly doubt that they're going to be pleased with this cartoon. Because like I said, this show is trying so hard to be edgy with the unnecessary bad language as well as the over-the-top violence and even mature content. Which I don't mind this show being more adult oriented per se, but my problem with this is the fact that they're going in the Family Guy route in which it's just nothing more but shock value before anything else. And ultimately it just comes across as embarrassing. Now the plot for the Harley Quinn animated series is that she is trying to step out of the Joker's shadow and finally become the queen pin of crime. But along the way she's going to have some wacky adventures with the likes of Clayface, Poison Ivy and whoever else tags alongside Harley Quinn. And that basic premise with the Joker is perfectly fine, and if anything it's really fitting for Harley Quinn. And while I do understand that this is more of a comedic cartoon in comparison to something that is as story driven as Young Justice, I feel like this plot thread in particular is going to be more of an afterthought, and instead the series is going to focus more on the wacky adventures. And like I said, the comedy does bother me. But I'm sorry, if you're gonna have Harley Quinn flossing in this show, then this just proves that this show is going to age horribly in about 5 years' time. But moving on with the plot, it also does seem like we are going to be delving deep into Harley's relationship with Poison Ivy. And perhaps it might lead into somewhat of a romantic relationship, which is something I never really dug into too much in the comics, as I always saw Harley and Ivy to be more best friends than anything else. But even though this show is going to go in a more carefree angle, I would hope that at the very least they do handle this relationship well and don't rush it like they did from the comics. And perhaps I'm overly negative about this show, mainly because I'm not fond of this incarnation of Harley Quinn to begin with, but even looking at it as an animated series, I just think it's just bizarre in the worst possible way. And why I would rather see a Deadpool animated series over this, despite the fact that this is more or less a Deadpool show, is the fact that this format does work for the character of Wade Wilson. But this show is clearly using the formula of Deadpool without really understanding how it works. Maybe I'll be proven wrong in that this show might actually be good, but given the fact that I don't like this version of Harley Quinn at all, I don't think I am going to be a fan regardless. So what do you think of the upcoming Harley Quinn animated series? Are you genuinely excited into seeing her in the DC Universe streaming service, or do you think that this just looks atrocious? Comment below and share some thoughts, and as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.